Islamic finance is a financial system that operates according to Sharia. Just like conventional finance system, Islamic finance features banks, capital markets, fund managers, investment firms, and also insurance companies. These entities are both governed by the Islamic laws and by the finance industry's rules and regulations. A core concept of Islam is that Allah is the ultimate owner of all the wealth in the world, and humans are merely as its trustees. Therefore, humans need to manage their wealth according to Allah's commands, which promotes justice and also prohibits certain activities. At the same time, Muslims have the right to enjoy whatever wealth they acquire and have to spend it in a Sharia-compliant ways. A Muslim believes that Islam does not restrict economic activity, but instead it directs it towards responsible activity that benefits other people, protects the earth, and honors Allah. In other words, Islam allows for a free market economy, where supply and demand are then decided in the market economy.
Islamic finance works differently to conventional banking and is regarded as ethical by those who use it. But how is it different, and why is it considered ethical? Unlike conventional finance, Islamic banks operate without interest or riba, which is forbidden in Islam. Instead, Islamic banks' activities are based on trade. They don't use risky speculative practices but generate returns from relatively low-risk physical assets such as property and metals. Using the principles of partnership and risk-reward sharing, relationships are built on trust, openness, and respect. Customers know that their money will never be invested in industries that are prohibited under Sharia, such as tobacco, alcohol, pornography, gambling, or arms. And at all times, Islamic banks consider how they must behave so that they act in the best interests of their customers and society as a whole. Everything they do is routinely monitored by an external, independent panel of qualified Sharia scholars and an internal Sharia compliance officer. So Islamic banks offer a different way of doing banking, one that is relevant to anyone who is looking for an ethical alternative, not just Muslims.
Promoting adherence to Islam. Every Muslim is expected to adhere to certain core beliefs and perform certain obligatory acts. And by reminding the Muslim of their obligations, Islam seeks to promote stronger relationship between each person and Allah, between the people and the earth, and among individuals. Zakat. To promote justice related to the distribution of wealth, Islam imposes a property tax called zakat. Every Muslim who meets the criteria regarding the accumulation of wealth must pay zakat,
which is then distributed to those people in need. And by doing this, Islam promotes socially responsible distribution of wealth. Prohibition of interest. For the sake of social justice, Islam does not allow interest-based transactions. No individuals or businesses are allowed to earn money from interest or riba. Instead, that money should be used to support productive economic activities. Risk sharing. Islam encourages risk sharing in economic transactions. When the risk is shared among two or more parties, the burden of the risk faced by each person is reduced. Avoidance of gambling. There are two words in Arabic that involves the transactions of gambling. The first one is maisir, which is the acquisition of wealth by chance and not by effort. And the second one is qimar, which is modern gambling and any game of a chance.
That we face is that Islamic banking system is not popular enough in our modern current world. Next is commodity indexation. It allows us to make comparison between the price of a commodity and its actual price. The third challenge that we face, proposed by Dr. Yahya, is that Islamic banking is not only for Muslims. We really have to cater the non-Muslims to bring the Islamic banking system to the eye of the world. Thank you.
What is SME? So basically SME is an abbreviation for small and medium enterprises. It is a business where the number of members are below a certain amount. It's not like a company. Company is big, where a company has more than 50 people. In Malaysia, there are a few SMEs that apply Sharia compliant facilities, or we can call it Islamic finance. And Islamic finance is basically divided into two: asset-based financing and also equity-based financing. Asset-based financing is where you give loans to people who want to buy houses or cars, but it involves the assets. They don't just give money to the customers easily, such as how the conventional banks do it. Equity-based financing is basically where both parties share the profit and loss. They also share the risk. Examples of asset-based financing, like I said before, is murabaha and also a salam contract. There are a few methods that's been applied by the Islamic-based SMEs to help the society. One of them is microcredit scheme, where they give small loans to poor people who lack collateral and steady employment. So basically they give money, small loans to poor people, so that they could invest in businesses, in making businesses for themselves, so they could get out of poverty and basically develop themselves to be better human beings in making more money and even help the society around them. Another method that they could apply is also Islamic source fund, where they give zakah, wakaf, or even sadaqah to the poor people. So basically it's the same as the microcredit scheme, where they give money to poor people so that they could develop themselves to be more useful to the society and make small businesses, so that they could alleviate themselves from poverty and even help each other. However, these methods are not perfect. There are a few challenges that Islamic finance could face. Basically, if these methods is applied to poor people, some of them could use the money not to invest in businesses, but they could use for their own necessities, as if buying food, clothing. So they could not make more money. They just receive money just for their necessities, but they could not invest into businesses to make more money for themselves for the future. But they could only, invest the money in themselves in the present.